I'm going through my personal messages on YouTube trying to catch up with them all. I'm almost there, but I got an instant message, or not instant message, a personal message from SuperDJChicken. He asked me a question a while back on how to actually change the dual boot options within the Windows 7 bootloader, because it does differ from the XP Legacy bootloader, so it's a lot different Vista and Windows 7. And he wasn't aware of how to do it. He has an x64 and x32, a 32-bit and a 64-bit operating system installed on two different partitions, and when he goes to boot, both shows Windows 7. So he'd like to know how he can change the description of the multi-boot options or entries within the bootloader. So I want to go and really quick make a tutorial, because I was at work last time he asked me. I kind of feel bad because it's been a while and I forgot. So I'm going to make a tutorial really quick on how to do this with the Vista and Windows 7 bootloader. I'm also going to go over some really quick steps on how to actually create new entries if you have like XP installed or Linux or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show how to do this. First thing we need to do is open up command prompt. You need to open up as an administrator if you're not an administrator already on your account. If you do a simple search for CMD under your start, you should be able to find it here and be able to run as administrator through there. I'm already an administrator, so I can just open it straight up here. And also, one important thing to note is you need to be on your current system, your Windows 7 or Windows Vista machine with the bootloader you're using. If you have XP installed alongside with Windows 7, chances are you're using the Windows 7 bootloader, because it does overwrite the previous bootloader, and I believe it'll actually add an entry into its bootloader with the legacy one. A lot of people are intimidated by this process as well, because it is all command line rather than an actual text file you can alter like in XP. But it's actually really basic once you get to understand it. The first thing we need to do once you open up a command line is type in BCDEdit. And this will show the Windows bootloader screen. You'll see a variety of identifiers here, and basically each one of these identifiers is an entry within the bootloader or the multi-boot option. From here you can set up different entries. You can also change the names of it. You'll see an identifier for current. That's most likely going to be your primary operating system, usually the top choice. My current operating system is Windows 7 Ultimate x64 here, and you can see the path to it, which partition it's located on. And also I have a identifier here for my Windows XP Service Pack 3 install, which I no longer have on my system right now. I actually have Slackware 13.1 x64 installed on that old Windows XP partition, so I do need to fix that. But one thing to note here is for each one of these entries, you're going to see an identifier for it. In the case of SuperDJChicken, he's going to see two Windows 7 entries. One identifier is going to be listed as current. Another one is going to be listed most likely as something else. Whatever one's the top one's probably going to be the one you're using, though. So I'm not sure if you're using x64 or x32, but whichever is your primary, that's the one that's going to be up top. Now, if you wanted to change the name of this, so for in my case, I want to change Windows XP Service Pack 3 to the Slackware, since I'm using Linux on that partition, I can go ahead and change it by doing BCDEdit /set, and then a specified identifier, which in this case is NTLDR, which I actually need to change. And you can even do /D or just type in the word description. I'm just going to do description. And then in quotation marks, enter in whatever description you'd like it to have. So for your example, you'll probably type in Windows 7 x32 or whatever. In my example, I'm going to type in Slackware 13.1 x64. End quotes, and hit enter. Operation completed successfully. So now if we do a BCDEdit, you'll see here the description has changed. So when I actually reboot my system, I'll see the entries in my bootloader that I can choose which one I want to go to. It'll take me to Slackware 13.1 or Windows 7 Ultimate x64. Also, we can also, if you want to add an entry, say you have XP installed on a different partition, you can do that as well. You can add identifiers in here, or different loaders here. So if I do BCDEdit /create and specify an identifier. So let's say I have Windows XP installed in the partition. I can type in identifier NTLDR and then /D or description, either or. I'll do description. And I can specify Windows XP. I don't want to actually add it in, though, because I don't want to fuck up my shit right now. But if you do that, hit enter, it will populate within here. Just make sure the identifier differs from any that are currently listed. And once you do that, you can also specify the partition that it's stored on. So I can do BCDEdit, and I can set, and then put down the identifier created. So let's say, for instance, I just created an NTLDR identifier. I can put that down, and I can specify the device path, which will be partition. Let's just say D if it's on the second partition. Right now it's selected the C, but this actual option is not valid right now. I have to fix it. But if I were to do this command right here, it would set the device, the partition that the actual operating system's on, to whatever I specify. So in this case, it'd be D, it'd be my second partition. Then I hit enter, and that would populate in there and update that information. Next thing I'd probably want to do is BCDEdit /set the identifier, which is NTLDR. Yeah, path. And then from here, I need to specify the path of the bootloader for that operating system. So I just put an NTLDR again. If it was Windows XP. In case of Windows 7, we'll see that the WinLoad, it's going to be that path right there. But the beginning path is just basically specifying the root. It's going to be on the root of the drive NTLDR, which you'll see on. Well, I don't have it installed right now, so I can't bring it up. But yeah, that's actually how you do. You can also change the order of this. You can do BCDEdit /displayorder. I think you can do it like that. Oops, BCDEdit. Okay. It's been a while since I've done that. Hold on a second. I'm going to specify NTLDR. Yeah, if I were to, like say I were to just create this one, I could add it to it. Yeah, here you go. You can add last, add first, remove. You can just basically switch around identifiers in the boot option by doing that. And in case any of y'all didn't know, whenever you're messing with any kind of command lines, in Windows at least, you can actually enter in the command and then /?. I can never spell this right. And it'll show it here. I think Linux is --. But it'll show you all the commands available to you for that specific command. But anyway, SuperDJChicken, that is how you change the description of your operating systems in your boot manager. And I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions or concerns, just let me know. And yeah, that's it.